guys, it's Lynn. So today I wanted to do my first ever story time video. And today I'm going to be telling you guys about my stalker. So before I get into this video, I thought of the idea because I was watching a lot of other YouTubers and they have a lot of stalker videos, and I'm thinking, there's a lot of girls with stalkers. And I was thinking, there's no way all of these could be true. But when you really put it into perspective, a lot of girls get a lot of shit from guys. So now that I actually think about it, I don't really think that it's all made up and fake. So before I get started, I just want to let you know that I'm not exaggerating, I'm not lying. These are actual true things that happened to me. I had one stalker and it was mostly when I was like in my young teens. Okay, so without further ado, here is my stalker story time video. Okay, so it all started out when I was probably, I want to say like 13 or so, give or take. It was a really long time ago. I'm 23 now, so it's kind of all, the timeline is kind of hazy, but this all started when I was very young in my teens, and I don't even remember how we became friends. This was back when like Pixo and MySpace was like really cool, and he sort of lived in my area, so I don't know how we started talking, but we did, and he was like totally obsessed with me. And I'm gonna call him David because I don't know any Davids, and his last name is kind of close to that name, so shh. Anyway, so yeah, we started talking, and he's like, oh, you're so pretty, and blah blah blah, and I'm like, okay. And like it just kind of like kept going and going, and he'd always want to be my boyfriend, and I'm just like, I'm not really into you. Like at this point it wasn't too bad. He was just kind of always like nagging me, sort of, but it wasn't like anything worse than that at this point. And just, it was like constant all the time, anytime I was online or like whatever, whenever we were talking, he was just like, I really like you, like, can you please be my girlfriend, like, and I'm just like, no. It kind of like faded out a little bit, and he had apparently moved to Simcoe. Well, like, I grew up in Paris, Ontario, so Simcoe's like probably half-hour away or so. So he ended up moving to Simcoe for reasons unknown, and like he would still talk to me now and again, but not really, because like, I don't know, he was busy with his life or whatever. And yeah, it was fine. Like, it kind of like simmered out, and we didn't really talk for a couple of years, which was cool by me. And then when I was probably 15 or so, I was living in a new house, and it was like not like a semi, but it was like split in half. Like the top half was the apartment I lived in, and then the bottom half was rented out by somebody else. And we lived right next to a KFC, and all of a sudden, like, he started messaging me again and was like, oh, be my girlfriend, like, I really like you, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, like, I don't like you. I think I might have had a boyfriend at the time, but I'm not sure. Or like I was seeing somebody, or like, I don't know. As a young teen, I got around a little bit. Like, I wasn't like having sex with everyone, but I dated quite a few boys. So yeah, I was just like, no. And then he threatened to burn my house down. Yeah. And I was like, you don't even know where I live, like, fuck off, man. And he's like, no, like, you live next to KFC, and I'm gonna come and burn your fucking house down if you don't date me. What? So I was kind of just like, whatever, like, empty threats, you're a fucking idiot, like, leave me alone. And like, it just kind of like dissolved after that. It was just like, I ignored him, and like I dropped it, and I was like, whatever, like I blocked him or some shit. And then fast forward a couple more years, I hadn't seen him or talked to him or like anything. Like, sometimes I'd see him like when I was out and about, and I'd like go to like a store or something, and I'd like just see him like over there, but like nothing ever really happened or anything like that. So now I'm probably 16, I would say, and me and my best friend Meg are both in relationship, and we're like, Meg and I were like hanging out, as we do. And we were like, oh, like back in like Paris, it's like everything is within walking distance. And like I can remember so much of my time as a teenager I spent walking. Like you would literally walk everywhere. So, and I didn't drive at the time and she didn't drive, so we were just like walking around, hanging out, and we're like, oh, like let's like go to the skate park. So we go to the skate park, and it's like there's like a main street, and there's like an arena, and then there's like a little side street, and then the arena parking lot, and then in behind the arena parking lot is the skateboarding park where all like the cool kids would hang out and skateboard and whatever. And it wasn't even like a real skateboarding park. Like there was a couple blocks and a couple railings and like 2 fucking ramp things. I don't know. It wasn't anything cool or intense, but that's where kids would always go and hang out. We were going through the parking lot of the arena, and we're walking through towards the skate park, and we see like probably like 4 or 5 guys on bikes, and like I'm watching them, and they're like doing their own thing, whatever, and we're like getting closer and closer, and I'm looking, and suddenly the one guy stops biking, and he gets off his bike, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and it's like like far enough away that I can't make out like extreme facial features or anything, but I can definitely tell like what they're wearing and like hair color and like vague features, right? So I'm like looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I'm like feeling really uncomfortable for some unknown reason, because he just got off his bike and started like looking at me, and I'm like to Megan, I'm like, maybe we should go. And then I realize that it's actually David, and I'm like, okay, shit, like let's go. And like Meg knows about this guy, whatever, and like we're like, okay, like let's get out of here. And then the guy, David, tells all of his friends, like I don't know what he said exactly, but all of a sudden they all get on their bikes and they start like riding towards us, and I'm like, what the fuck? So like Meg and I are like fucking speed walking out of there, because we don't want to look like, we don't want to like fucking hightail it. We want to look somewhat inconspicuous about the fact that we're like trying to get away from these dudes, because we don't want to come off obvious to them that we're freaked out. So we're like just fucking walking away. We're like, meh. And then they fucking like pull up next to us, and they're like yelling at us, and like I don't remember anything that was happening, but they were basically following us and like riding around us, like doing circles around us, and like they would go and then they come back and go and come back and like just fucking with us, right? And they were like yelling shit at us. So I get on my phone and I call my boyfriend, and I'm like, okay, like David is here, like we walked to the skate park, and David and all his friends like got on their bikes, and they're like following us and yelling shit at us and blah blah blah. So my boyfriend's like, oh, okay, like 1 second. And so he's like, I'm gonna get Megan's boyfriend, and we're gonna go and pick him up, and then we'll pick you up. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And so my boyfriend goes and picks up her boyfriend, and they come and get us, and we hop in the car, and then we start chasing David and his friends on their bikes in my boyfriend's car. Stupid, immature things. Just... So we're like downtown, and we chase them like uptown, like where he lives is like on top of this giant hill, like fucking enormous hill, and like a subdivision up on top of this hill. Chasing them in this car, and they're like riding away on their bikes, like freaking the fuck out. And my boyfriend's like yelling. My boyfriend and her boyfriend have like rolled down their windows and are like yelling shit at them as they're like chasing them and threatening them and blah blah blah. We like pull over like probably 3/4 of the way to his house or whatever, and my boyfriend's got like bats and shit. Like he was pretty sporty, so he's got like golf clubs and like bats and like fucking just I don't know, weird shit in his trunk. So my boyfriend and Meg's boyfriend get like a bat and like a golf club or some shit out of the trunk and get back in the car, and then we're chasing them again, and we're screaming at them and like showing them like bats and like golf clubs and shit, and they were fucking terrified. It was so funny because like I'm just like thinking like this guy fucking deserves it. Like he's been terrorizing me since I was like 12, 13, like on and off, just won't leave me alone. Just like totally fucking obsessed with me in the weirdest way. So I'm just like, yeah, whatever, like you deserve this. Finally, like we get in his subdivision and he like fucking books it home. Like all of his other friends kind of like dispersed down like little side streets of the subdivision, and we're just on David. We're like, fuck you, motherfucker. And he like rides up across his lawn, chucks his bike, and runs into his fucking house, and we're like sitting outside like, get your ass out here. And all of a sudden, like, we're like sitting there for like 2 minutes, and we're like, okay, like obviously he's not coming. Well, we had left like the bats and shit in the car, and I can't remember if we actually left them in the car or if we put them back in the trunk, but whatever. We're outside the car, we're waiting outside of his house, and all of a sudden like 4 cop cars pull up, and they're like, oh, like David told us you're like threatening him with blah blah blah, like bats and whatever. So like I told him like, no, this guy has like been harassing me for years. Like Meg and I were just walking around minding our own business, and they started chasing us on bikes. So then our boyfriends came and picked us up, and then we wanted to know why he was harassing us. So we just followed him, and we were hoping to like talk to him and blah 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 and see why he was doing this to us. And the cops were like, okay, whatever, like, and then they're like, well, he said you guys have like bats, like baseball bats and shit, so like, do you mind if I check you guys? And we're like, no, like not at all, whatever. And of course they didn't like look in the trunk. We must have put everything back on the trunk, but yeah, they didn't ask to open the trunk. They just kind of like looked in the windows of the car, and they checked us, and we didn't have anything. So that was that, and he never talked to me or bothered me again after that. And I don't know if it was because we chased him down with bats and fucking golf clubs and threatened him, or if because he was embarrassed that the cops came and didn't do anything for him. So that's my stalker story. Not all that exciting compared to some other stalker stories I've seen, but that's mine, and it's my personal experience, and it was fucking freaky, and like, it's just like the little things that people do that get under your skin. It was like that. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed my video. Don't forget, I put out new videos every Sunday and every last day of the month. And if you're not already and you'd like to, hit subscribe and be my friend. And until next Sunday, keep shining. Bye.